It was me. Those were the words that the 22-year-old suspect in Charlie Kirk's killing reportedly used and in a confession that was in an online Discord chat shortly before turning himself in. That is according to screenshots obtained by the Washington Post.
Sherry Staley Tate's family has been here for 5 generations and told us Robinson went to school with her daughter.
I said, well, how would you describe him? And she said, I would describe him as, you know, those kids that they're kind of too smart, that they're not common sense smart.
As thousands mourned around the country for Charlie Kirk this weekend,
Charlie was a man of courage and conviction and truth.
Investigators are digging into the suspect's life.
We're sort of joking around with him, and he keeps joking back, saying, I better also get rid of this manifesto and exact copy rifle I have lying around.
I got nightmares in my head, I fear thoughts build up until I can't feel. My mind fills up into a creature, and it haunts me somewhere much deeper. I got nightmares in my head, I fear.
Hello and welcome to the members only lounge of True Crime Rocket Science. This will probably drop in the subscribers feed in about half a day or so, maybe slightly longer. Well, we now have the clearest glimpse yet of the suspect's demeanor in the hours after the killing. According to the Washington Post, Tyler Robinson wrote, "I'm surrendering through a sheriff friend in a few moments. Thanks for all the good times and laughs. You've all been so amazing. Thank you all for everything." And that was posted at 7:57 p.m. on Discord. 2 hours later, Tyler Robinson was taken into custody. Now, to understand what we're dealing with here, 2 separate group chats on Discord have emerged as confessional transcripts, but also provide fascinating insight into the group dynamics of the youngsters, presumably all young men, in Tyler Robinson's orbit. Now, I do think from a legal perspective, from the perspective of prosecuting this case, this is gold. This is going to make their job a heck of a lot easier. Both the Washington Post and the New York Times have separately broken similar stories about 2 separate group chats on Discord. But before we get to that, just a shout out to Patricia for your super thanks, much appreciated. Thanks also to @hikingwiththedog. I love the sentiment in your avatar, by the way, for this fantastic and thoughtful comment. And what I really appreciate about it is that it gives us some really prescient insight into what it feels like to be there, to live there, from a local. So thanks again for that @hikingwiththedog. Keep them coming. In terms of you guys in members only, I will definitely keep these videos coming as close to in real time as I can. And there's a really very good analysis that I can't wait to share with you guys. It's already posted on Patreon. It's titled Charlie Kirk, Why is Nihilism in Vogue and What's the Antidote? I've already gotten some really great feedback from that. A friend of mine said this kind of thing needs to be published in the New Yorker or the New York Times. So it was really validating to hear that, because I was up right through the night, up until the early morning. I was just having like a Jerry Maguire moment when I put that together. And I must say I did feel pretty good about it afterwards, just that I'd covered what I wanted to say in a way that I thought made sense and certainly resonated with what I thought needed to be said. So it meant a lot to me writing it. It meant a lot that it resonated with one particular reader, and I really hope and trust that it's going to resonate with you. Please do let me know if it does. As I say, that'll be dropping in members only first, just in the next couple of days. All right, and let's get started with our analysis of these texts. Let's go to the Washington Post first. Quote, "The 22-year-old suspect in Charlie Kirk's killing appears to have confessed to friends in an online chat shortly before turning himself in to law enforcement." That's according to 2 people familiar with the chat and screenshots obtained by the Washington Post. I did see a comment where someone said, "Only in America will someone murder someone who turned himself in for murder." And I can't help thinking about that. It's kind of an interesting comment, which I think seems to suggest, shouldn't he get some credit for turning himself in, just in the same way that Koberger did? So one does wonder, will he ultimately get the death penalty? Will he make some sort of deal, to give them some information in exchange for not getting the death penalty? Well, I guess we'll find out. There's a press conference later today. I might be covering that live. I think it's at 5 p.m. Eastern. Now, you might imagine bluster and bravado, in terms of these chats, but instead Robinson was at turns contrite, even self-deprecating. Bear in mind, Robinson was about to turn himself in, and this was effectively a Hail Mary, a last chance to say goodbye before he lost his freedom. Back to the post. "Hey guys, I have bad news for you all," he said in a message from an account belonging to the suspect. He said, "It was me at UVU yesterday. I'm sorry for all of this." The message was sent Thursday night, about 2 hours before officials said Robinson was taken into custody. Now, how do we know this? Well, a member of the group chat, speaking on the condition of anonymity because of fear of harassment, shared an image of the conversation with the post. So you kind of get an idea that they feel like they don't have anything to hide, that this wasn't really part of the radicalization. They weren't part of whatever was being plotted, which basically means you're not really going to get a sense of the motive, the inner workings of his mind, the criminal psychology from this aspect, but you're going to get a sense of the more superficial dynamics that connected him to some of his friends and peers. Now, you might say, well, you know what, anyone could really just conjure up these messages. Are they really authentic? And we do need to think critically in terms of the authenticity. And so what's interesting is Discord have provided a copy of the message with a confession to authorities. Discord has also said that an internal investigation, I guess from their side, found, quote, no evidence that the suspect planned this incident or promoted violence on Discord. Now, I know many people debating this are very polarized. After all, there may not be an actual war going on in America, but there is a very real culture war going on, splitting America down the middle. I think I even saw a comment from Marjorie Taylor Greene saying that she wants a peaceful divorce, which is quite a thing to say. And many in America either embrace Charlie Kirk's politics of grievance or reject it. But let's face it, as one journalist has noted, those seeds of political grievance are falling on fertile soil right now. And this assassination simply adds fuel to those fires of fury and frustration and indignation. But if you want to believe Charlie Kirk is all good or that Tyler Robinson and his cohorts are all bad, I'm not sure either is absolutely true. One of the kids on the message board in the context of the confession actually wrote, "Bro didn't deserve to go out like that. Sad." According to the post, the group chat involved about 30 individuals. I think there's another one that involved about 20. Anyway, the post goes on to note the Discord conversation shared with the post shows members of the group chat reacting to Kirk's shooting on Wednesday. That's before the news broke that Robinson was allegedly involved. The group included about 30 people, according to the person who provided screenshots. Charlie Kirk got shot, one friend wrote Wednesday afternoon, according to an image of the messages. Another one exclaimed, "I just saw the video, holy shit." And that was about an hour and a half later. And then that same person said, "Bro didn't deserve to go out like that, sad." The only response from Robinson's account came the next day with a message announcing bad news. What this appears to indicate was that certainly in the narrow confines of this transcript, perhaps there are others out there as well, but certainly in terms of this one, that neither Robinson nor his pals on Discord were gloating about the assassination, which I think is something of a surprise. That's not to say early in the timeline, the group on Discord, I think either a different group or a different chat, weren't joking about it, because they were. It's interesting that they compared the shooter to Luigi Mangione, also joked that he looked like Tyler and warned Tyler not to go to a McDonald's. That's, of course, where Mangione was apprehended. According to the New York Times, quote, tagging Mr. Robinson's username on Discord, the acquaintance attached the images and wrote WYA, where you at, with a skull emoji, suggesting that Mr. Robinson, 22, looked like the man being sought. Mr. Robinson replied within a minute his doppelganger was trying to get him into trouble. Tyler killed Charlie, exclamation mark, another user wrote, apparently in jest. That was on Thursday afternoon around 1 p.m. local time. It was not until about 7 hours later that night, nearly 34 hours after the shooting, that Mr. Robinson was arrested. Just think about that. Almost just a day, almost like 24 hours. That's one day plus 10. It's really a very, very short time after this happened that he was arrested on suspicion of carrying out the assassination of Charlie Kirk, 9 years old at 31 years old, a conservative pundit whose killing has inflamed the political world. Now, as with so much in the news these days, I think we're likely to see two responses to this. One taking maximum offense, that's something like Tyler joked online to his friends, following the killing about what had happened, and then another perhaps saying that Tyler apologized. Tyler was immediately sorry. Well, in reality, he did both. He joked and he was sorry. Now, I agree with the Times writer that these transcripts are invaluable in that they reveal not only the killer's demeanor and psychology after the fact, but that of his online community as well. Does one get a sense of hatred or of politics from these messages? The Discord messages were the clearest glimpse yet of the suspect's demeanor in the hours after the killing. They were shared with the New York Times by someone who knew Mr. Robinson in high school and has kept up with him in the group chat, which includes about 20 people, but said he had not seen Mr. Robinson in prison for several years. Now, the Times coverage acknowledges that the Discord messages do not shed light on the possible motivations of the shooter. I'm seeing coverage suggesting that there is a manifesto out there. But how about you? Do you think that's true? If I'm understanding the reporting correctly at this early stage, I think Robinson joked about there being one. I could be wrong. It does raise the question if his peers didn't aid and abet in however he was radicalized. And I'm not sure we can even say that for certain right now. But if we do say that, then the emphasis returns in a sense to violent first-person computer games and then the self-reinforcing algorithm. Where did the sort of leftist ideology come from? I think Robinson's sexual orientation and intimate partner dynamics may turn out to be more relevant to his identity and his politics than this Discord community, but I guess time will tell. I do understand many of you aren't going to like this, but I do think it's worth comparing. I mean, after all, this is a true crime channel. Comparing the shooter intertextually to Koberger. So how are they the same? How are they different? Well, Robinson appears to be a lot more socialized, doesn't he? And he seems to be in a relationship. Well, these are both aspects that we never saw with Koberger. And then there's this. I'm sorry for all of this. I mean, this is within something like 34 hours. I mean, not even Koberger could muster that sort of response in 3 years, not even in court like a couple of weeks ago. Never, actually, since he committed his crime. And clearly the difference between Koberger and Robinson was that one individual was a lot more antisocial than the other. Another one is a lot more bound to his peers and to his friends. And the similarity, though, is unfortunately inescapable. Both young men felt weak in some peculiar way, and somehow imagined that killing would solve their problems. Instead, they made them a million times worse. And the prison they were trying to escape, as young men, is now a permanent cage. That cage started out as a prison of their own thinking and their own making. Well, we must be careful not to make the same mistake, which is to become our own worst enemy, to, where we become prisoners of our own self-limiting psychologies. Well, I'm not going to take it further than that. Let me know what you think about this analysis in the comments. Again, look out for that whole spiel about nihilism. I really can't wait to share that with you. In the next analysis, we'll examine how Tyler Robinson's attempt to shut down and silence Charlie Kirk has backfired, and we'll sort of look at the stats regarding his social media. So keep your eyes peeled for that. Thank you for listening. If you've recently joined Members Only, welcome. Thank you for listening, and I'll see you guys next time.